All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Smart Grids webinar here with Jackrabbit. We will go ahead and get started to just stay on track as this is supposed to start at 1 o'clock, and that is the time that I have for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, welcome to this Smart Grids webinar here with Jackrabbit. Before we get started, I do want to just go ahead and let you know, yes, this is being recorded. And if you registered for this webinar, which if you're listening to this right now, you registered for it, you will get a recording, an email from Zoom tomorrow, and it's going to have the recording link in there as well as a couple of other helpful links as well. So let's go ahead and see who we've got today. So my name is Emily. I am the training product specialist here with Jackrabbit. In the background today, I've got Donna and Kelly. They are with our support rep team. So if you ever put in tickets, any chat or phone calls, you might be talking with them. They are going to be answering those Q&As today. So we've got the chat disabled and we've got Q&A open, and we will be answering those questions as they come in. So if you do have any questions, please go ahead and put them in there. And then in that email from Zoom tomorrow, you will get the Q&A questions and answers as well, so that you can review those afterwards. Let's go ahead and talk about what we are going to be learning today. So what I like to call is the what is what. So when you're looking at these smart grids, there are a lot of different functions that you have there, a lot of different buttons that you can click. I'm going to kind of define those and let you know what each of them do and how you can best utilize them. Then we're going to be talking about grouping your data. We're going to set and filter data in the grid. We're going to take action, and then we're also going to look at those data visuals. And then really after that, that is everything that we'll be covering today. Smart grids are really, really, really easy once you understand them. And they are extremely helpful when you are using them in Jackrabbit. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get over here to Jackrabbit. And before we start talking about smart grids, if you have been in any of my webinars before, you know that I like to highlight a couple of different things. So right over here, this little question mark here, this is our Jackrabbit Help Center or Help. This is our Help button. So right now, we've got the Help Center, which is where we have incredible articles that we have that are written to help you and give you all the information. Video help, you can see some of my webinars here, as well as any shorter videos that are created. Staff training options, this is where you can find different staff training options. So if you want to find me at a trade show to get some information, you can absolutely do that. There's just all sorts of really good information when you look at that staff training options. There's the e-payments resources. So if you're utilizing e-payments, you can do that. There's the Connect with Us. So here's the Facebook. You can join the Facebook software users group. And here is our YouTube channel. So those are two great ways to get a little bit more information. And then down here in the blue are, I find, the most important things. This is the submit a ticket, request a call, and chat with support. This is where you might run into Anna or Kelly, where they will answer your questions. I think there's 19 support reps. So if you don't get one of them, don't worry, there's 17 more that can answer your questions. So that is there for your help. And then right over here is what we like to call our resource, Jackrabbit Resource Center. This is where we say, let's get started. If you're new to Jackrabbit, you can do this. It's kind of like a startup wizard. Optimizing Jackrabbit, training opportunities. This is where you might have found the webinar. As you can see, we've got a couple of webinars coming up later in this month. Latest enhancements. This is where you will see any of the latest enhancements that we have released here in Jackrabbit. Integrations and partners, featured videos, show me how, and submit your ideas. You can see here that this is a 2, and the same right here where it has that green 2 up here. That means that I have not yet. So once I look at those, that, as you can see, that green little dot just disappeared, and that 2 disappeared. All right, so that's everything before we get into smart grids. So let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this webinar. Smart grids are found in families, students, classes, and they can also be found in staff and certifications. So this is what smart grids look like. you've got this right here. And you can update or change really anything with these buttons over here. So first we're going to start with families. We're going to do all families, and this is where I'm going to start defining some of those specific things. So just bear with me. I'm going to be clicking a bunch of buttons. I'm going to be explaining a bunch of different things, but that is how that's how I find it easiest to follow along here with these smart grids. So the first thing I want to highlight is breadcrumbs. So breadcrumbs is anything right up here. This is what is really filtering your data when it comes to what you are seeing. So let's say I want to add another breadcrumb. I can very quickly just look at accounts receivable, and I've got, let's see, 0 to 30 days old. I want to see these families that have 0 to 30 days old charges. So now this has filtered it even more down to 11 families, as you can see there. And if you want to get rid of one of these breadcrumbs, you can very quickly just remove that filter. And if you're looking for specific ones, you can go right over here to filter, and we'll go through that shortly. The next thing you can do is you can drag and drop a column header into the grouping bar for group results. By that, I mean you can drag this over here to family, and this way it will organize by family. But let's say I want it to do it by, let's see, by e-payment method. I can put that in there as e-payment method. As you can see, this is sorting ascending. If I want it to be a sorting descending, I can very quickly click that, and it will change that from ascending to descending. And then if I want something else in there, let's say I want current classes in there as well, I want it to filter it based off of that. I can very easily do that and click current classes here. And again, you'll see that this is going to ascending. And let's say I want it to change the way it filters. I can pull this right over here to the front. And as you can see, this has now changed. So that current classes, it's now filtering it first by the current classes and then second by the e-payment method. So you can see there are 1 current classes here. If you want to see who has the most current classes enrolled, you can go here, and there you can see right there. So that is how you can drag and drop. You can click a row menu to open actions from that row. So right here is our row menu. You can view and edit, you can post fees, you can accept payment, post credit, and you can add a note. Down below, you can see these page numbers. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 page numbers. You can see here that the items per page is right here. You can see 50, you can see 10. It's really up to what you want to do. If you want to do 250, you absolutely can, and it'll show 250. In this filter data, there's only 168, so it's not going to show me that 250, but it is showing me the full 168. After that, we're going to go over to the columns menu. So that is, again, these 3 dots right here, and you can edit your columns again. So you can, again, sort them by ascending, descending. You can also add columns that you want. So let's say I want to add more columns. I want to add, let's see, I want to add discount type. And if I scroll over here, this is our scroll bar. I can scroll this all the way over, and I can see this discount type. If I want this to be moved, I can very quickly just drag this all the way over wherever I want. So if I want it at the beginning, I can absolutely do that, and I can do that right there. I can make these smaller or bigger by dragging this over. You can do really all sorts of different things here as you are going through the smart grids. You can click this if you would like to do ascending. You can click it again for descending. And then if you click it one more time to get rid of that filter, as you can see, it has gotten rid of that filter. The next thing we are going to look at is right over here. So we have got our, let's see, adjust columns. You can send a message. You can refresh your grid. You can add a new family. And then here is another little bit of a menu where you can change e-payment schedule, family discount, family fixed fee, membership type, clear user-defined fields, print, and export to Excel. So let's say we want to clear user-defined fields. I can change, these are all of my user-defined fields that I have that I've created when I was in my general settings. If I want to clear all of these, I absolutely can. So let's say I want to clear agree to photo release, because let's say it's a new year and I want parents to have to do this again. I can absolutely clear that, and then it'll clear it for everyone. Another thing is when we are right here and we're clicking export to Excel, it is only going to export this 168 families. It's not going to export the 271 because what I have is I have it filtered to 168. So as you are kind of making this smaller or bigger, however you would like, you can export this so that you can see however many families and that type of data that you want to see. Another thing that I forgot to mention when I'm over here in the columns settings is right here in the column setting position. I can lock and unlock columns. As you can see here, this gray or the unlock column is a little bit grayed out. That is because I have not locked this column. But let's say I go over here to balance. I can now unlock that column. So what that means, if I unlock that, now you can see that this little black bar right here has moved from, instead of right behind balance, it's right before balance. That means that when I'm scrolling down here, that balance now moves. If I want to make that stick again, I can go right here, lock column, and I can very easily do that. Okay, so that is everything when it comes to your definitions. I kind of jumped into a little bit of grouping your data. I get a little ahead of myself sometimes. So this is how you group your data right here, is by dragging and dropping these column headers in. So again, if you want to change something or if you want to see a specific type of data, you can absolutely do that. You can click current classes, and then you can again do, let's say you want to do current classes and you want to see, where did I put that discount rule? I think I put it all the way up here. Yep. I've got that there. So again, so you can see the current classes here and you can see the discount type here. Let's say I want to see that discount type before I want to see those current classes. I want this to be the main filter right here. I can scroll this right over and I can see there it is now doing the discount type amount, and now it's in the second filter, the secondary filter is those current classes. And you can scroll down and you can see how they are doing all of that. So like I said, there is a lot. As you can see right there, that's current classes. Let's say you want to collapse that. You can very quickly just collapse that so that you can see specific classes or numbers of classes that you are looking for. And then here you can see discount type is percent. So you can see the different types. So the top one was amount, this one is percent. So that is a great way that you can do that. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And as you can see, this is still showing 168 of 271 families. That's because I still have this breadcrumb right here. If I want to get rid of that, I can very quickly do that. And now it's showing me 271. These data visuals, these pretty circles with these colors are what we call data visuals. These are all clickable, and they are ways that you can kind of add breadcrumbs in there. So like I said, I just clicked that family status to active. It's taking me back to that 168. So let's say I want to have this as family status is active, and I also want to see families who have not agreed to active policies. I can click this right here. And then if I go right over here, I can click save as favorite. So saving as favorite, this means that I am now going to change this or save this as a favorite so that I can then quickly access it rather than having to go in and click these buttons. So let's say active, no policy. That's the name of my now favorite. Do I want to set this as a default? That is asking that when you come into this page, do you want this to be the default view that you see? If not, you can quickly turn that off. And do you want to share this with your team? If you want to share this with your team, anyone who has access to your Jackrabbit account, so for this organization is called Ed's Recreation Center. Anybody who can log into Jackrabbit for Ed's Recreation Center will then have this filter. So we can save that. And then we can go right over here, the favorites, and we can look at all of the favorites. So you can see here, active no policies, active families default. There's another one that's active families default. And then there is a view for another user and families enrolled in Friday classes. So there are just different ways that you can save these. And if you're not seeing what you want right here for your filter, you can click right over here to open filters. And let's say I want to see discount, something with discount. Well, why not? Can I spell it wrong? There we go. Family discount rule and family discount. So you can very quickly just click this. And as you can see here, it's going to bring you right to that. So instead of, let me collapse this. Instead of clicking each one of these and being like, oh man, like I don't really know where I want or what information I'm looking for, instead of having to click all of this and scrolling all the way down because there's a lot of options here, you can very quickly just type it in here. And as you saw, it will pop up. So we can do that, and that is how we can, so let me go back to this, I'm sorry. Let's go to family details, let's go to registration month. Let's say I want only January registration. Well, let's do something more. Let's do, it is May, so let's do May. Click that, so now I've got 3 families that registered in May. So let's say I celebrate that they have been here for a year or however many years they've been there. That way I can very quickly go right over here. And as you can see, so this still is active families, agreed to active policies, and registration month. I want all of the families, even if they haven't agreed to all active policies. I can click this, and now I've still got 3. So it didn't change anything, but that is how you can get all of that good information. And again, you can save this if you want. Save it, you can click right here, and you can type in May registration month active. And then you can save this if you want. And then the last thing here is hide data visuals. You can hide that. Let's say you don't want to see all of the data visuals. You can very quickly do that. And you can do that right there to get it right back. Okay, so that is everything when it comes to families. Let's go on over to students. It is very similar, but there are a little bit of differences when it comes to a couple of different things. So when we are looking at families, as you can see here, this is an active status. So this is all student status active, just because this is set as my default. So this is if I went to all classes and I went back to students, it's my default, so it's always going to pop up here. If you want to change that, you absolutely can. You can go right here. You can go to actually cancel, save as favorite. I can do this, active students, and I can just click set as default, and that will turn this gray. That way it is not already, I'm changing it to where it is not going to be the default. And then active students, this is saying this already exists. Are you sure you want to change this? It's going to overwrite your existing. I'm going to click overwrite existing. And then let's go back to, let's just go back home. And then let's go back to students. Now you can see that breadcrumb is gone. That means that filter is gone. That is no longer my default. My default is just this right here. So when we are looking at students, there are a couple different buttons. These buttons here are the same. Down here, we can adjust columns. We can send a message. Again, we can refresh that grid. And then right here, you can change student fixed fees, clear user-defined fields, clear immunization fields, add a note, print, or export to Excel. So when it's asking to adjust columns, you can very quickly click that. And do you want to squeeze the grid or expand the grid? When it's asking you, do you want to squeeze it? Do you want to see all of your columns in one window rather than having to use the scroll bar over here? So let's see what that looks like. If we do squeeze grid, now you can see that when I scroll, it does not move any of this information because I have squeezed all of these to now be active or in this window here so that I don't have to scroll. If I want to go back and I want to expand it, I can very quickly do that. And there we go. So now it's expanded. Now I can scroll. It is all based on how you want things to look. And again, this is all, you can change all of this. You can change every single piece of this, mark it as a favorite. So let's say I want this to be, I want to squeeze the grid. I want to add the city. I want to add the primary phone, and I want to add school. Let's say I've got all of that information in there. As you can see, when I'm scrolling now, it's got a lot more information. I can now save this as a favorite, and I can say main view. Let's say this is my main view. This is what I want my main view to be. I can then set as default, click save. And when I go back to all students, it's now got all of this information right here. All right. So then that is the adjust the column. Let's say we want to send a message. I want to send a message to all of my active students. And I want to send a message to all of the ones that have dropped in the last 14 days. I can very quickly click that. And then I can very easily just send a message, and I can do an email, a push notification, or a text message. So this right here, the push notification, that is if you have Jackrabbit Plus, our app. And then the text message is if you do have that Twilio, which is an integration partner that we use here in Jackrabbit. So let's just say email here. And then how do I define the audience? I want it to be the primary contacts, the billing contacts, the student, other contacts, instructor, or additional staff. So let's say this was, instead of about absences, this was about balances. Then I can go here and I can turn off all of this. And I can just do primary contacts and billing contacts. I can do next additional settings. I want to include opt-out. So I want to include people who have opted out of mass emails. Yes, I do. And then who do I want to be copied on this? Let's say I want this person to be copied on it because they tend to do all of our billing. And then how do I want my emails to be responded to? I want them to be responded to my front desk. And then I go right over here to the composer, which is your email composer, where you can put in templates, things of that nature. So you can put in here, if you have a template of payment due right here. You can very quickly just do that, and it will send out to those two billing contacts and primary contacts. So let's get out of there. And let's say let's go back to here. And I have 185 students of 296. Let's say I only want to email a specific number of people. So let's say I only want to email these 4 right here. I can very quickly just do the same thing, send a message, email. It'll do the same thing if I click these 4. Now to clear that, that's a couple of different things you can do that. You can just unclick here, or you can click and click again. And as you can see, it cleared it all. All right, again, that's the refresher grid. And then right here, you can change student fixed fees. You can clear user-defined fields, clear immunization fields, add a note, print, export in Excel. So let's say this agar family right here, let's say I want to start a note for them, add a note. I can then add a note, and it will be, let's see, vacation. Students will be on vacation May 20 through 23. That way I can just see this, click add, and now you can see that the notes are right here. So for both of them, a note has been added right here, and you can see right there. All right, so that is everything when it goes into student fixed fees. You can again update this, and as you want to, you can just kind of click whoever you want, or if you have filtered this to a specific number of people, you can absolutely change that as well. Last thing is classes, all classes. Again, this is gonna look a little bit different. As you can see here, I have a default to openings equal to yes. That means that my openings are yes. If you're ever looking at a filter and you're like, man, where did they find that openings equal to yes? I can click right here, and then I can click right here. And as you can see right there, that's where it says it. So you can see here openings. So that's going to be under enrollment details, and there's that opening rate. All right. Let's look at these little icons right here. Adjust column, send the message, filtered calendar, refresh grid, add a new class. And then here you can add a lot more when it comes to classes, because there are a lot of different options you can do with classes. You can add a note, add a policy group, add resources, remove policy groups, mass drop, mass edit, export to Excel, and print. So let's first start with adjust columns. It's the same thing, squeezing a grid and expanding a grid. If you want to expand it, you absolutely can. I think this was already expanded. It actually wasn't, I don't think. So this is where you can see all of that. You can send a message again. You can do an email. And let's say this is what I want. Who do I want it to send it to? It's the same thing that you can do on the students and families page. Here, you can do a filtered calendar. This is what I really, really like. Let's say I want to only send a message or see classes Saturday. I'm going to go right over here to filters, and I'm going to type in, let's say we type in day, class schedule, days of week, right here. And I want to see classes that only meet on Saturday. Click apply. As you can see right here, that is the new filter that's brought in, and I've only got one that meets on Saturday. Then I can go here to filter calendar. I want to look at weekly, and there it is. So I've got that right there. Let's say I want to see ones that meet on Saturday, and let's go back to days of the week. And let's say I want to see it on Wednesday. Maybe I'm looking to add more classes, and I want to see what kind of classes or class openings I have. So I can go to filter calendar. I can go to week. And there we go. So Wednesday, so these are showing up right here, the Monday through Friday, because they are meeting on a Wednesday. So just because it's showing this Monday through Friday does not mean that the filter did not work. It is just showing that these classes meet one Monday through Friday, and that equals that it shows that it has classes on Wednesday. Sorry, I'm getting tied up on my words here. Same thing here with the advanced tumbling. It meets Monday and Wednesday, therefore it meets that filter criteria of meeting on Wednesday. So it's going to show all of those meetings. All right, so that is everything when it goes to the filtered calendar. Let's go ahead and close that. We can again refresh a grid. We can add new classes if you would like. As you can see, adding new classes. This is the same pop-up that you're going to get if you click right over here to classes and add class. It's the same thing. It's just an easier click for you than having to go all the way up here to classes and add class. You can just click this little green plus button here, and that'll take care of it for you. And then here, as we've kind of already gone through, these are all of the different different options that you have here in the classes button, or in the classes options. So let's say I'm going to add a new policy group, but I want it to be added to, let's see, to only ballet classes. I can go right here into this search bar. I can type in ballet, and this has all of my ballet classes. Anything that fits, anything that a class name has ballet in it, now has that right there. So this has filtered this automatically for me. And let's say I want to add a policy group. I can go right here, and let's say I want to add them to the competition. I can click add, and now it has added those policies. And if you are looking for it right there, you can click policy groups. It might need a refresh. And ballet. You can see right here, ballet, it now says competition and default policy. So again, you can always type in anything here in these search bars. You can put in classes. Let's say you've got ballet here, and click enter. And then I want to see how many openings we have. So if we have 2, it's now filtering ballet classes that also have 2 openings. So it's another way that you can filter different different things here in the grid. There's just, when I say there are tons of ways to filter everything here in the grids, there's literally tons of ways to filter everything here within the smart grids. So there are the drag and drop. That is one way that you can filter, right? So I can drag and drop all of this. I can move this around to change the way that I want it done. That is one way to filter it. I can type in right here how to do it. So I only want ballet classes. That is giving me that filter. I can filter it again, like I showed with those openings, or you can do it by policy group. You can do it any way that you want. You can combine these different. So if I want to do openings here, actually, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Once you are using this type of filter, you can't use the drag and drop. But you can still do this. You can still do, let's say we want category of sphere. I can still come down here and type in competitive. So there's no competitive policy groups here. So again, that's just another way that you can filter different things. And then the other ways that you can filter is right up here in the open filters. You can expand all if you want to look at it all, or you can begin typing. You can go over here to your favorites. This is already a saved favorite, so this is how I would be able to change this favorite. And then here is where you can start searching for those favorites that you already have or that have been shared with you by other staff. And then, again, this is just how you show those data visuals or collapse them. So that is really everything. The certifications here in staff is exactly the same. Here is all of the one thing you're missing here are those data visuals, which is completely fine, but you can still do the same thing here. This is the same thing, how you can adjust columns, you can send a message, refresh grid, you can add a new certificate, and then you can also export to Excel. So in the staff certificates, it is a bit more simple of a grid, but that is really the gist of anything that has to do with smart grids. Again, you'll find them in families, all families, students, all students, classes, all classes, and staff certifications. I believe that is everything that I am going to cover. If anybody has any questions, again, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. I am going to go ahead and go back over here to the presentation. And I want to just make sure that everybody is aware that this is a great way to contact us is at training@jackrabbittech.com. I personally see those emails. So if you have a question that I didn't answer here with this webinar today and you want to follow up with me, you absolutely can send me an email. I had it done during my last webinar, and I love when I get those emails because number one, it teaches me that I did not go over something that I should have. And number two, it gives me a chance to problem solve and help you out. And then this QR code here is your QR code. You can grab your phone and scan it. You can join your Facebook user group here, and that will take you straight to the Facebook user group. If you put in your organization details, that makes it a little bit easier for our admins to go ahead and add you, and that will take that. Other than that, that is pretty much it. If you have just a second, there is a survey when you close out of the Zoom. It will take you to a survey. Please, please, please fill that out for me. It gives me a lot of good insight on how I did and what I can do. Thank you.